People like to say that time heals all wounds, but no one ever mentions that sometimes it doesn't heal. It just clears the fog, so you can finally see the truth. My ex-wife, Leah, walked out of my life 2 years ago. She said she needed to find herself, which was really her way of saying she'd found someone else. I didn't argue, didn't beg, didn't chase. I simply stood there, watching her carry out the pieces of the life we once built together. The silence she left behind wasn't comforting. It was suffocating. When you get used to someone's voice filling your days, even your own thoughts start to sound strange once they're gone. But I kept moving. Slowly, quietly. I fixed up the house, started running again, taught myself to cook something other than frozen meals. Then one morning, I realized I hadn't thought of her all week. That was the day I knew I was finally healing. 3 weeks ago, the doorbell rang just as I was making dinner. I opened the door, and there she was. Same perfume, same smile that once made my heart stumble. "Hey, Mason," she said softly, her voice trembling just enough to sound fragile. I didn't move. Half of me wanted to shut the door. The other half wanted to hear what she came to say. She stepped inside, glancing around as though walking through an old dream. "You've changed things," she said, brushing her fingers against a new photo frame. "Yeah," I replied. "Had to." We sat down on the same couch where she once told me she didn't love me anymore. Her words came slowly, careful, rehearsed. She said she'd made mistakes, that life wasn't what she'd imagined, that she missed the safety I gave her. I listened, detached, almost amused, because the man she remembered was long gone. Then she said something that almost made me laugh. "I've been thinking about us. Maybe we could start over?" Her voice broke, her eyes searching for the version of me that would have once said yes. Before I could answer, the front door opened. I'd forgotten to lock it. Leah froze when she heard footsteps, and then Ava walked in, her best friend, the same Ava who warned me years ago that Leah was too selfish to love anyone but herself. The same Ava who stood by me when everything fell apart. Ava smiled easily, setting a grocery bag on the counter. "Dinner smells good," she said, her tone calm, like she hadn't just walked into a storm. Leah's face drained of color. "What is she doing here?" she snapped. I leaned back, arms crossed. "You showed up uninvited, Leah." She didn't. Her eyes darted between us, searching for something to hold on to, some lie that would make this moment less real. But Ava didn't flinch. She looked at Leah and said quietly, "I told you once. You take people for granted, and one day you'll lose the ones who actually cared." Leah's shock turned into anger. "You? Seriously, Ava? You were supposed to be my friend." "I was," Ava said evenly, "until I saw what you did to him, and I stayed quiet when I shouldn't have." Watching them face each other felt like closing a door I'd left open too long. Leah let out a bitter laugh. "So what, you two just decided to play house while I was gone?" I looked straight at her. "No, Leah, you decided to leave. I just stopped waiting." Something inside her broke then. Her voice softened, desperate. "I made a mistake, Mason. I thought I could find something better. But no one ever made me feel the way you did. For a heartbeat, I felt a ghost of the old pain. But ghosts don't belong in the present." I stood up. "You had your chance, Leah. Twice. The first when I loved you, and the second when you walked in tonight." Ava stood beside me, silent and steady. Leah's eyes flicked between us, and I saw it. The jealousy, the regret, the realization that she'd really lost. She turned to leave, muttering something under her breath. At the door, she paused and said coldly, "You'll regret this, Mason." I shook my head. "No, Leah, I already did. I'm done repeating it." The door clicked shut. For a long while, neither Ava nor I spoke. The tension faded slowly, replaced by a strange calm, the kind that settles after a storm when you realize the roof's still standing. Ava broke the silence first. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said, just surprised. She smiled faintly. "You handled that better than I thought you would." 2 years ago, I murmured, I would have begged her to stay. "I know," she replied. "That's what makes it different now." We sat there quietly, the weight of old memories lifting bit by bit. I realized that the woman who shattered my life had finally walked out of it for good, and the one who helped me rebuild was sitting right beside me. Later, while we made dinner together, Ava told me something that stuck. You know, she said, Leia came to me a few months ago. She said she missed you. I told her she didn't miss you. She missed the comfort she thought she could come back to any time. She was right. Leia didn't return because of love. She came back because the world outside didn't welcome her the way I once did. After we ate, we sat on the porch, listening to the crickets. The air was cool, the night endless. Ava rested her head on my shoulder. You think she'll come back again? She asked. Probably, I said. But this time, there's nothing left for her here. She smiled.